What's going on, everybody? How we doing? Welcome back, and now it's time to talk about a different side of Halloween H20, a different aspect with Halloween H20, and what I personally would have done to Halloween H20 so that way a fan like me, a person who views the Halloween franchise the way I do, possibly could have been able to enjoy it a little bit more. Now, I want to start this off by clarifying that in my last video, I didn't try to bash the shit out of Halloween H20. I don't despise Halloween H20 for what we got. I just don't appreciate a Halloween movie in that vein, in the way that we got it because of its surrounding films of that era. I know a lot of you understand that, but there are some people that are just like, duh, you hate it, you fucking hate it, you bash the shit out of it, fuck Halloween H20. No. Yeah, it might not be one of my favorites. I might not love and adore it like the original, but it's not atrocious because the movie we got after that is the example of pure and utter disgust. But there are a few things that I personally would have done that would have made Halloween H20 a little bit better, in my opinion. Now, I understand that most of, if not all of these things would not have been able to happen, and I'm gonna start that off with the inclusion of, obviously Dr. Sam Loomis. Now, I understand, you don't have to tell me, I understand that was not a possibility because Donald Pleasance died before Halloween 6 was even released. He died in post-production in sometime in 94, late 94, early 95. I can't remember off the top of my head. But we did lose Sam Loomis. But it's just a what if, kind of a thought. Just imagine if Donald Pleasance was in good health and he was still alive and a 20-year later reunion, could have happened between him and Michael, even if it was still the same thing where 4 through 6 was negated, if it was just the direct sequel to Halloween 2, and we saw the aftermath of that fire like we did in Halloween 4 with the scars, what it could have been like 20 years later, who knows? That could have been interesting. That is by a landslide, in my opinion, what would have automatically made the movie better. If nothing else if every single thing was still the same, but Donald Pleasance was a part of it, that automatically makes your Halloween movie better. But yes, of course, I would have wanted the setting. I don't want a Halloween movie set in California. It's got to be set in that autumn Midwest kind of vibe. It was okay with I think they shot Halloween 4, 5, and 6 in Salt Lake City, I believe. Halloween 4 had a great atmosphere. Halloween 6 had a great atmosphere. Whatever on Halloween 5. If Halloween H20 had an autumn, fall vibe atmosphere, that instantly improves the movie. And I did talk about Josh Hartnett's character, and I'm not bashing John Tate. I'm not going to bash Josh Hartnett because he's a great actor, But yes, I prefer Zeke. I prefer Josh Hartnett in The Faculty over H20, but he did a great job with what he was given. So I'm fine with that. I don't think I would change anything about Laurie Strode. I don't think I would change anything about Jamie Lee Curtis's performance in that movie other than the scream in the beginning. Other than that phoned in, half-ass, squealy scream we got in the beginning, I'm not the biggest Laurie Strode fan. You've heard me say that time in and time out, that I prefer Rachel over Laurie as a character, but Jamie Lee knocks it out of the park in that movie, and I'm cool with that. But, so this is more or less bullet points. I'm not running through how the movie would have played out, just the bullet points of things that I would have changed. And of course, I would change Michael fucking Myers. Now, no disrespect to Chris Duran, but he felt like a fucking cosplayer at a convention. I felt like I was walking in and seeing what do they call it? Those animatronic fucking dolls from Spirit Halloween. I felt like that's what I got in Halloween H2O. The masks, the 4 or 5 masks we got were fucking absolutely atrocious. If they had stuck with that Halloween 6 mask that they had in like 1 or 2 shots, that would have been okay. But Chris Duran had the right build, the right demeanor for it, but he felt like a fucking lost puppy. It was ridiculous. It just did not work for me. I'm not saying Don Shanks would have been any better or George P. Wilbur. I mean, yes. What would have made that better is it was 20 years later. And what do? You bring back the true original shape in Nick Castle. It was only 98. He was doing his directing thing and whatnot. You could have got him on board if John Carpenter somehow got that $10 million he supposedly asked for. Not that would have happened, but if John Carpenter was on board, Deborah Hill somehow, that would have been amazing. And Nick Castle was Michael Myers. That instantly would have made Halloween H2O a better movie, in my opinion. I really, really, truly feel that way. It would have felt like a real spiritual successor. It would have just been epic on all proportions. I can see it. I can see it. You know what I mean? If the mask isn't the original mask, so be it. But if you had the man behind the mask, who knew the character in and out and knew how to portray that character, and then by some miracle we would have had John showing and directing Nick on how to do it, it would have just made it that much better. Okay, I'm okay with Michelle Williams in that role. It would have been fine because, I got J-Love, I got SMG, and I Know What You Did. I got Nevin Scream. It was fine. I'm okay with Michelle Williams and H2O as that love interest for the son. That's fine. That's okay. LL Cool J, it is what it is. They had to capitalize on the era with the pop culture in that celebrity, and he's fine. I'm okay with it. So if you got to leave that in there, whatever. It would have been a little different if you saw LL Cool J in Haddonfield. If this movie took place in Haddonfield, I think that really would have made a big difference on just all the characters alone and how we view them. And another big thing that I would have liked, and it's made me of wanting it more and more after Halloween Kills came out, was if Charles Cyphers came back. This was like just some sort of little subplot, okay? It would have been a subplot of the film. If we had Charles Cyphers as Lee Brackett wanting that revenge to avenge his daughter's death. If he wanted to get back at Michael for killing his daughter, for killing Annie. If we had some sort of moment like that where we get a little bit of an older Charles Cyphers and he was deranged and wanted to fuck Michael up, I think that could have worked. And it would have been very, very interesting to see the dynamic between a really old Donald Pleasance and Lee Brackett, to see how their relationship would have bounced off each other. Because last we saw him was, "You let him out," and all that crap from Halloween 2, and then we never saw him again. And then we see him as the security guard in Halloween Kills and pulls the fucking line from Halloween, and no, we're all entitled to one good scare bullshit, whatever. He was a wasted character in there, and I think if we had some sort of an inclusion of him as the authority figure in the police force in Haddonfield still somehow, I think that could have instantly improved that movie. I think all these points that I'm bringing up, I think would have made Halloween H2O compete with that era just fine. Well, I don't think, but at the same time, I don't think it would have fit into the post-Scream movie. It would have been its own thing. I really do. So that's good. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I don't want to go crazy, but I mean, what's a good way to look at this? I mean, because like I said, I'm not here to argue with people. I don't want to make enemies. I'm here to make friends, talk to new people, get to know other fans out there. And it's okay for others to give each other all of our opinions and see what we like and dislike. I just would have... I think if those kind of things were elements in Halloween H20, I'd be looking at it today so much differently. It's not even funny. I think there's so many Halloween fans that just accept it for what it is and look past it because of nostalgia and it being the first one they ever saw or the first one they ever saw in theaters. So it is what it is, and I've grown to accept that. But I've always wanted to talk about what I talked about with why I'm not the biggest fan of Halloween H20 and then some things that I would do to fix Halloween H20. Like I said, I don't want to go on and on and on forever because there's so many things. But those are the big main points. You know, even if half of those things happened, it would, like I said, it just would have instantly improved that movie and made it just a little bit better for each thing. So I'm very, very happy that I finally did talk about this because there have been people that think it's a little odd that I don't like Halloween H20, but I love everything else from that era. I love that time frame of horror movies, but not Halloween H20. Why? I hope that these last couple of videos have justified that and have explained why I feel the way I feel, and that, you know, if you're completely content with the way Halloween H20 is, that's totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. But if you do agree with me, if there are other things that you think, what would you have changed about Halloween H20? What would you have added? Do you think my points are valid? Do you think some of the things that I've brought up are valid? You know, I haven't even, one of the most important things, I mean, I didn't bring it up because it's so obvious, but Michael Myers was shot in the fucking face in Halloween 2. Why do we see his eyes so fucking much? The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes? No! I don't want to see that. We shouldn't be seeing his eyes. And the reason why I didn't really bring it up is because I think... was it intentional, or did the masks really make it that much worse? I don't know, but, we can't be seeing his eyes the way we did. I'm sorry. I had to bring it up. I couldn't hold it in. So, like I said, if there's anything, let me know down in the comments below, and, like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you got any ideas for any other things you'd like me to talk about, any particular horror movies, like I said, I've got some ideas, and I've just been, popping on here every chance I get due to how busy my schedule is and how busy life is, as I've been saying since the beginning. But I just love it. I love this, and I want to continue to do it because I love it, and it's a blast. And it's brought me so much energy and made me think about so many different movies through different aspects and this and that and everything else. So we're gonna leave it at that for today. Like I said, I could blabber on and on and on and on about the movie and the likes and dislikes and wants and needs and changes, but those are the main things that I would have changed in Halloween H20 to make it a better movie for me personally. So until next time, you guys all take it easy. We'll talk you down in the comments below. Peace out.